Is Levy your friend?
Is Levy going to become a GM?
The answer to the question is yes. I am, honored to call Levy my friend. People have this idea in their minds that we've known each other since we were children and we played all the same scholastic tournaments together. In fact, we were a world apart. He did the stuff that I was doing, except I was on the West Coast, he was on the East Coast. I knew who he was because we were both, showing some talent in scholastic tournaments. We chatted here and there on the Internet Chess Club, but I really only got to know him well during, COVID time. We started to chat. By now, we've hung out in person many times. It really was a pleasure to get to know him and Lucy. And, there's a lot about Levy that I think people might misunderstand when they just see him through his videos. I think he's a very down-to-earth guy with a big heart, and I'm very happy to call him my friend. I mean, obviously, this was a leading question. You have something specific to ask about, so I'll let you cut to the chase. But yes, really like Levy and only have the good things to say about him. Well, maybe not the last video, but
Yeah, Levy posted a video about your match with
Andy, but I guess it's Andrew Woodward. I guess that is his full name, Andy Woodward, yeah.
Yeah.
Or Andy Woodstock, as people on my stream like to say.
The amazing Grandmaster who you happened to play a match of 15 games, and that match was not the one you're the most proud of. Levy made a video and...
Speak for yourself, I'm very proud of losing 0 to 15 in 3 minutes. I do that all the time.
What was your reaction when you saw Levy posting this video, and specifically when you watched it?
Yeah, so first of all, for context, I won't provide all the context. I'm sure we'll get to that. The match happened, we're recording this, it's April, early April. So this was 2.5, 3 weeks ago, exactly. Yeah, time, 2.5, I don't even have the right date on my watch. 2.5, 3 weeks ago at the time of recording. Okay, when the match happened, I knew that there would be, now I'm so used to there being a Twitter reaction anytime there's any kind of anomaly. And I admit, when I lose 0 to 15 to someone in 3-0, I can understand and I can't blame people for paying attention to that. This YouTuber called Epic Chess, do you know who that is?
Epic sounds familiar,
but rich guy, and he's he seems like a very nice, how would you say it in British English, bloke, chap. He seems like a very nice chap, very friendly. He's made some very, positive videos about me. I really have nothing bad to say about the man himself. I do think that if I were to provide one piece of unsolicited advice to him, he goes overboard with the it's not just clickbait, it is you will die unless you watch this video. In this video, Magnus played the Sicilian, but this is an opening you've never seen before. It is a little bit over the top. And so he was the first to make a video about my match with Andy a few days after he played. And it was, kind of similar to Levy's. The vibe was similar, what happened to Danya. The games are, he played a 900 and it was the same old stuff. And the comments, of course, I know I'm not supposed to look at the comments.
That's what we will say to each other.
Everyone on my stream is like a Zen master. They're able to just avoid ever engaging with a public reaction. But it was all wild speculation. One guy was I know for a fact this was not Danya, or he threw games or, gave his account to someone. Or he was drunk or high or all of those things put together. And obviously, am I more sensitive than the average Joe to these types of accusations? Yes, because it may sound like an innocuous YouTube comment to someone, but if it gets 500 likes, I'm not it's not that I'm asking people not to do this. I am demanding that I know where this could lead, and I'm not willing to accept round 2 of the BS spreading around, because it's so much harder to establish and spread the truth, especially if it's not congruent with people's appetite for drama, which is insatiable recently. So I went on stream the day after my match with Andy, explained to people what happened. I'll leave that aside for now. And that didn't move the needle at all. Then when Epic Chess made his video after that, it's nobody referenced my stream. And so when Levy made his video, it was that, except there were not 30,000 views, there were 200,000 views. And all of the comments are either there's 2 types of comments that trigger me, and I'm supposed to be unfiltered in this podcast, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I will start with, 200 views is so low for Levy. Damn, he's
200,000.
200,000 is so low for Levy. He passed his peak. I mean, a year ago he averaged 1 million, or like maybe it's a year and a half ago. But yeah, go ahead with Unfiltered.
Yeah, I mean, to me that's still like a lot of. And please stop me if I'm dragging on or I'm being boring. I want you to promise that.
Are you being bored?
No, continue.
Because I have a tendency to fall in love with the sound of my own voice.
I think that's
I chose the
weird.
right job for myself, chess comedy. I get to just talk for 8 hours.
Speaking of, we'll elaborate on that later.
So many juicy topics. So,
yeah.
Okay, Levy puts out this video. Friends sent it to me. I listened to it like on speed, 1.5x. Was very irked by some of the things in the video, and I'll get to that. First, I want to kind of give the general context. Then I listened to it more carefully when I got home, and I was a lot more irked. And of course, all the comments are all the same. Either people say that, Kramnik this, Kramnik that. Like, didn't Kramnik also accuse Danya? Like, he's also in that club of players. And again, I'm not trying to solicit sympathy or pity, but if you're already talking about it, let's not pretend that, first of all, tweeting about, Andy, who is not just like incredibly promising, as I've told him many times, but just a model of great behavior. I mean, he's so mature. He's so modest. Like, I saw him at the World Blitz in New York. I have only the best things to say about Andy. I really, really like him. He's such a sweet kid. And, it's pathetic. Just pathetic to tweet about someone like that without even seeing the games, without knowing the context.
You did beat him in New York, though.
And we played both in the World Rapid and in the World Blitz, something I was a little bit, like Levy could have mentioned that. I beat him both in the Rapid. It was my best game, I think, of the tournament, and in the Blitz. And he's a beast. Like, I took him very seriously. Anyways, that was one type of comment. The other one was, again, Danya, something was wrong. Like, either like, let's send him a care package. Like, what's wrong with him? Or like, he was clearly like wasted out of his mind, playing on in some bar. Or again, like, clearly these games were thrown either as a setup for Kramnik, or, he lent his account to a student, which is crazy to me. Like, people will say this, and as if they know something, they don't know anything. So it's been this normalization. And I understand that most of these people might be trolls, but not all of them. I think people just, they say this stuff with no context or information, when it's actually quite easy to ask me. Like, I'm pretty reachable, right? I stream. You can come in and ask me what happened. I also was a little bit irked. Levy didn't establish the truth. And we've already made up. He has already reached out to me, something that I was very touched by. So I'll get to that in the end. This story has a happy ending. And I feel like there's just such an easy way to resolve most of these disputes that have recently blown up into scandals. But that's just because everyone has fallen in love with behaving like children. That's the order of the day.
But isn't that people on the internet in general?
Well, but I'm talking about in some cases, the GMs and the famous people involved, they don't do anything to counteract these influences. But when you say why are you paying attention to the trolls? 99% of the comments are stuff that are accusing me of fair play violations. In light of what happened, and in light of the fact that people don't realize how close the bad guys were to winning, I just have no tolerance for this. I know where it could lead. And I was just irked that I have to start wallowing in that mud again. And it's not a big deal. Levy's reached out. We talked about it. As usual, he was very mature, emotionally intelligent, and he behaved as a good friend would.
Want to use this as an opportunity to tell everyone kind of what was going on in that match? You presumably weren't drunk or high?
No, not to my knowledge. And by the way, if I was, I think I would play better than that. That's the point.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, if you look at the games without any prior context, it looks pretty weird. The first 2 games seem pretty normal, but then I repeat the same trap 4 times. It's I don't even know if I could show. I don't even remember. Does the camera see the board?
Yeah.
This is the only time I'll show anything on the board, I promise.
Yeah, let's do that.
I know you weren't prepared for that, so I'm sorry to be so difficult.
No, it's great. I'll
I'm not even positive I can remember it, but I think I can. So Jababa London.
Okay.
Bishop f4, c5. Now here there's e4 is recommended in the course. One person said like, oh, Danya, I know this isn't him because he's not playing what he recommended in the course I made with Sasha Bortnick. Oh yeah, it's like I'm now confined to playing only those lines. So knight f3. Now Andy played, I think he took, queen takes d4, knight c6, I'm going queen d2. And let me remember, just give me a second. Oh yeah, it was here. I want to say it was like here. Okay, now it's going to be more suspicious if I don't remember this step, because it's just like how, not only did you fall into it 4 times, like now you can't reconstruct it. I mean, I can look it up, but it's some move where my queen gets trapped on b7. Like it's some line where I take the pawn. I want to say it's some position like this, and black goes like knight a5. And you could superimpose a little board later. I'm not going to bore people trying to remember it.
We'll put the 2D somewhere.
I walked into this, I think, 3 times, and then the 4th time I like moved my queen back at the last second, but it was already. Can I cuss or no?
Yeah,
it was already shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
If shit is a curse, Danya, come on.
Some people take it so seriously. They're like, I'm very laissez-faire on. Okay, my 4-year-old kid was watching your Twitch stream at 2 a.m. and he heard you say shit. Okay,
what do the kids listen when I say?
The bigger problem is like he's watching your stream at 2 a.m. or 4 a.m. or whatever. It sounds like a you problem. So anyways, I walk into this trap 4 times. I blunder like completely elementary things. And then at various points, there's 40-second pauses on like recaptures, which is, you'll see this like not so seldom in my games because I have a life and people seem shocked at this, that like I'll get a phone call during the game. I'll be doing stuff when I play casual blitz. Sometimes I'm doing like, my taxes. Not that I do this until like April 13th. Like I do sometimes multitask on non-chess things.
On the casual matches, right? On casual games.
I don't have the luxury of just always blocking off time when I'm not streaming. I try, but it's not always possible. So that was one of those occasions where I was talking to family. There was an urgent task that I was taking care of. And then the first 2 games I played while focused. And I was mad that I lost because I was like actually looking forward to that blitz session. Then because I was mad, I kept playing even though I was already very distracted. And I wasn't just distracted. I was like on my main monitor, I was just like doing completely non-chess related stuff. And I was just making random moves, trying to like procrastinate until I could refocus. Fortunately, that first call took much longer than I thought. Then Dina, you can confirm, like I won't get into the details, but like I can confirm. There was a false alarm. Like I thought something bad is going on. So I actually, you were one of the people I talked to. This is all happening during the match. So like, it was unfortunate, but Andy and I agreed to 15 games. And because I was ultimately on tilt, I just kept playing. And people were, well, why'd you keep playing? Why didn't you just stop? Okay, yeah, Mr. Perfect, like maybe you do everything rationally.
No, but you agreed. Times. You agreed with the person.
I agreed with the person. And at some point I understand I'm going to get destroyed. What people truly don't understand is it doesn't even matter to me. Like this is casual chess. It's not competitive chess. I'll get my rating back. Like I know my real strength is like 3,100 or whatever, 3,150. Even now, unfortunately, Dina, I think like the Andy match and the fact that I've been kind of in a slump recently and unable to get over 3,000 until yesterday.
Mazel tov.
Thank you. Tada. When I go on stream now, it's like every second comments, what happened to your rating? Like, is everything okay? Like, why is your rating so low? What happened in this match? What happened in that match? And I want to talk more about this separately, but people are like all up in my business. And we're talking not about tournaments. I understand I did bad in a Title Tuesday or in an over-the-board tournament. That's legitimate. But when I play casual blitz, like this is a personal matter, right? These are completely non-competitive games. I win some, I lose some. I once beat Magnus 9 in a row because he was shit-faced drunk at the Chess Bra House. I didn't make a video about it because I don't know, like I think it's a basic thing, like as a chess professional, I have a conscience. Like I wasn't proud of it. It was funny, like it's nice to say that I beat Magnus 9 times in a row, but like why would I like give the man a night off, right? Like let him be a human. And sometimes it feels like, I don't know, like people just, there are certain like rating stalkers But like constantly notifying other people, oh, Danya's playing, like Danya's this rating. Like, why is that why is that your business? Focus on your own development. It's kind of gotten out of control.
We were kind of...
Sorry for the
it's great.
impassioned rant.
We were kind of talking about this, like, isn't this in any field? Whenever you're one of the best, people are always behind you and kind of always like trying to, like, I was thinking like Magnus should probably kind of feel the same thing.
Yeah, but I'm not one of the best. I'm not a professional player. I'm retired from over the board chess. This is what I don't understand. It's like, I'm a good blitz player. On a good day, when I'm on fire, I hit 32.79. That was my peak. When I did it, there was no video about that. I think that day I like adopted 2 GMs, nothing. If anything, it's like people are just suspicious. So if I'm under 3,000, it's weird. If I'm 3,200 or over, like Wallfish is working again. Like, what am I, like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's funny how often that situation occurred, where I felt like no matter what I did, there would be a certain like class of people who would like get suspicious. So
Speaking of the pressure and Levy, is Levy going to become a GM?
No. And he knows this.